very good Tuesday evening to you, and thanks for joining us tonight on UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. Gosh, it was another cold one out there. It's almost like it's winter in northern Michigan or something, and some of us are still seeing that lake effect snow. Others saw a little bit of sunshine. Let's bring in Joe for more on that. And Joe, those few peaks of sunshine that we did see today sure felt nice.
I know. I left my house and it was really coming down. And then I got about halfway to work and suddenly the sun came out and it was glorious.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen the sun much since, Thanksgiving.
Right. It feels like it.
Yeah, and inland areas did get a fair amount of sunshine today. Others still dealing with that lake effect snow. Still some more snow coming up tonight through tomorrow in the snow belt, so we'll look at that. And then later in the week, there will be a little melting. It's not going to last long, Maya. We're talking like 2 days. But we'll warm up briefly, and then after that, it's coming. Big dump of cold air, and that'll arrive here next week. We'll show you just how cold we expect it to get, and much more coming up a little later.
A little hint, it's going to be very, very cold. But yeah, Joe will have much more on that later. Meanwhile, the battle over Enbridge's plan to build a Line 5 tunnel around the pipeline under the Straits of Mackinac continues. So today, 4 tribal nations and several environmental groups, they appeared before the Michigan Appeals Court to challenge the Line 5 tunnel project. So this is video from that courtroom today. The groups are asking the court to reverse the Michigan Public Service Commission's decision to approve a permit for Enbridge to build the tunnel beneath the Straits of Mackinac. Now, the Public Service Commission granted one of the permits needed by Enbridge to move the project forward in December 2023. Now, let's take a listen to what one of the attorneys for the environmental group Earth Justice said today.
As you all heard today, we presented, I think, a compelling case to the Court of Appeals this morning. The argument lasted about an hour, and we laid out our case for why this needs to go back to the Public Service Commission to do a true consideration of whether this project is needed for Michiganders and for whether or not this project will increase impairment of Michigan natural resources.
Now, a decision from the Court of Appeals could take several weeks or even months. And to begin construction, Enbridge still needs state approval from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, and federal approval from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Now, we've received this statement from Ryan Duffy. He's a communication contact at Enbridge. It reads in part, quote, "The Great Lakes Tunnel for Line 5 at the Straits makes what has always been a safe pipeline even safer, ensuring energy access and reliability and supporting jobs in the economy throughout the region. Building the tunnel has the support of 70% of Michiganders," end quote. And you can read Duffy's full statement on our website, UpNorthLive.com. But you heard him there. He said it has the support of 70% of Michiganders. Well, that was our question of the day. Let's see if our results are similar to what he is saying. Do you support plans to build the Line 5 tunnel? As of right now, yep, it's pretty close to what Duffy was saying. 73% of voters say yes, we do support it. 27% say no. We have 296 votes as of right now, but you can still vote. So scan that QR code on your screen right now. That will take you to our website where you can vote yes or no. And you can also join in the conversation on our Facebook page. Looks like right now we have about 55 comments. So a lot of people have thoughts on this topic. So we will be sure to check out some of those comments and share them with you a little later. But turning over to more local news, let's see where we're going next. Okay, so the 56th International 500 Snowmobile Race is still a few weeks away, but a lot of volunteers have been very busy trying to prepare the track. And it's definitely a difficult task, but the payoff is one of the biggest events in the entire Upper Peninsula. So here is Daniel Zivian with much more on that story.
I'm at the International 500 racetrack here in Sault Ste. Marie. Workers are here around the clock getting things ready for the big race on February 1st. They actually have to have everything ready by January 26th for the kids' race. From now until race day, a truck goes around and around day and night, laying down 14 to 18 inches of ice on a 1-mile oval.
It could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to empty one tank out on the track, on the racing surface to make the track. So and then we'll pull back into the watering shack here and then refill it again and keep going. As long as the temperature is correct, we will water 24/7.
Kay says temperatures have been much better this year, with the team able to start packing frost in December.
It's amazing to see all the volunteers come together to get this place ready to go. I mean, this track brings in so much to Sault Ste. Marie. To be here to help put that on, it's gratifying enough.
City leaders are planning to turn the track into a year-round venue. Visitors Bureau Director Linda Hoth says they only need to raise $80,000 to fully fund the $2 million project. But until then, Hoth says race week will be plenty for businesses across the region.
It can be anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 people, easy. It depends on the weather. Weather has a lot to do with it. Last year, even though the weather was so warm, it brought a lot of people out because it wasn't so cold.
Hoth says there's a pre-construction meeting in March. They're hoping to get things underway as early as April. Hoth says her team is going to be here at the I-500 track during race week, raising funds. In Sault Ste. Marie, Daniel Zivian, UpNorthLive News.
All right, we have some state news to report to you tonight. So Michigan Senate Minority Leader has announced plans to run for governor. Eric Nesbitt is actually the first Republican candidate in the election so far. As of right now, I believe the only other candidate is Detroit Mayor Duggan, and he is running as an independent. But Nesbitt first represented Van Buren and Allegan counties in the Michigan House, and he has been serving as a state senator since 2019. So Eric Nesbitt is joining us live now for much. Oh, nope, not joining us just yet. We will bring him in a few minutes, hopefully. So let's turn things over to, I just teased this story. We'll circle back to it. Let's turn things back over to a local story. And it's actually an update to a story we first shared with you back in August. So if you ask most businesses around northern Michigan, they will probably tell you that when it comes to hiring, affordable housing is a pretty big issue. We've all heard of people who accept jobs up around northern Michigan, or they're wanting to accept a job, but then they have to turn it down because they can't find housing. And it turns out that's an issue with a lot of schools as well. So Mark Chalette has an update on a project to bring more affordable housing to the Grand Traverse area to support teachers.
The housing issue up in northern Michigan is for everybody is a total disaster.
That Senator John DeMoose was well aware of. What caught him off guard, though, was how he was approached with a possible solution.
When I saw TCAPS come together with the ISD, coming together with the Traverse City area Catholic schools, coming together with Interlochen, and speaking with one voice, that got my attention.
That attention and the message behind it inspired Senator DeMoose and Representative Betsy Kofia to get to work and led to this announcement back in August that $5 million in a state grant would be used to build up to 72 affordable housing units for educators and staff.
To the best of our knowledge, this hasn't been done in Michigan before, so we're kind of finding our way through some of the details. But it's, again, it's incredible that the level of commitment and collaboration and partnership that is coming from these partners here to find a solution that we can hopefully push forward to the finish line.
Each of the schools that unified their message to Lansing and sought out the funds share similar stories.
The school districts that are part of this project have all had experiences where we've offered positions to an employee and hired that employee. And they've accepted that job, but then they had to turn it down because of an inability to find housing.
Not a unique situation for education, but one that may only get worse if not addressed.
If we look at, long term over the next few years, even just thinking ahead about retirements that might be coming, school districts are going to face a need to hire and recruit and retain some new employees. So, it's going to be that much harder to find people if we don't have affordable housing for them to live in.
The project is in its infancy. $5 million in state funds to help with the projected $23 million price tag. The housing to be built on land owned by TCAPS near Blair Elementary School. The income-based units available for employees of Northwest Ed, GTAX, TCAPS, and Interlochen. Right now, the schools are working on an agreement amongst themselves before the next steps can take place.
I mean, certainly providing education is the role of government. I mean, we spend an awful lot of money on that. That's in our Constitution. That doesn't necessarily mean providing teacher housing, but we do all kinds of things to jumpstart different efforts.
And this may be one of those efforts, addressing a lingering challenge for all of northern Michigan that could have an impact far into the future.
Our educators play really an essential role in the community and in our schools. And if there isn't housing for people to live in, it's that much harder for school districts to to really support the students and make sure that they're prepared for that next step in life.
Mark.
And that was Mark Shillett reporting. But all right, we are jumping around a little bit here today. But as I mentioned, Michigan Senate Minority Leader Eric Nesbitt is running for governor. He is joining us live now to talk more about this. So thanks so much for joining us. And can you tell us what inspired you to run for governor?
Well, thank you for having me and appreciate being on. And I mean, let's be honest, Michigan hardworking families should expect so much more than what they're getting out of Lansing today from their state government. And this is why I've decided to step up and run a Michigan First campaign, one that's based on Michigan families first, Michigan students first, and Michigan workers first. And this is all about trying to work to bring folks together around the state. I grew up on a 6th-generation dairy and grape farm, not afraid to show up and work. And our family has been invested in Michigan since the early 1820s. I have 2 kids, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, a third on the way. We're fully invested in our state. And the failures that we've seen over the last several years here in Michigan, somebody needs to step up and take on the status quo here.
And Senator Nesbitt, you were a representative for some time. You've been a senator since 2019 in Michigan. Kind of going off my first question, was there a specific moment when it really clicked that you for sure want to run for governor?
I mean, it was last Tuesday when I was leaning over and asking my wife, "Are we really going to do this?" And she goes, "Heck yeah, let's do it." But it shows last year when President Trump showed that his strategy of winning Michigan last year, bringing together folks from different faith communities, different areas of the state, different nationalities, backing grounds, but a lot of working class folks. And he ended up winning the state. We won back the Michigan House majority with Speaker Matt Hall. And I think it shows that we can get back to winning again. And if we continue on the status quo here in Michigan, what we're going to become is a poorer state, a less educated state, one with people leaving the state instead of people wanting to come here. And so the future of Michigan is just too important to sit this one out. And I think voters expect, I think hardworking families expect that their governor works just as hard as they do. And that's my background, whether it's working on the farm or fighting for our conservative values.
And this might be a little repetitive, Senator, because you already mentioned some of your campaign priorities. But when it comes to going to vote for our next governor in 2026, why should Michiganders vote for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about what do you expect to get out of Lansing. And at the end of the day, you should expect more from your state government in terms of value for money. And if you care about the future of education in the state, more accountability, more choice for parents and trusting them, that's part of our Michigan Student First agenda. If you care about our traditional values and bringing folks together, that families do matter, that's our Michigan First agenda. And if you care more about fixing our infrastructure and making sure that we have current technical education instead of giving billions of dollars to some of the most woke far left corporations in the world, and some are related to the Chinese Communist Party, instead of investing in our workers here in the state. That's part of our Michigan First workers agenda. And that's something where I hope people across the state, I'm looking forward to traveling Traverse City to Monroe, from Sault Ste. Marie to Ironwood, Port Huron to Muskegon with that agenda. And I look forward to having discussions with hardworking Michigan families across the state.
All right, Senator Nesbitt, unfortunately, we are out of time, but thank you so much for taking some of your time to join us on Unscripted. It's really nice to hear from you and really appreciate that. But we do need to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Well, our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, has been talking about a brief warm up in the forecast and then a drastic cool down. Now, Joe, I'm looking forward to the warm up a little more. How warm is it going to get later on in the week?
Yeah, I can probably get you a 38 maybe.
That's lovely. Yeah,
maybe
I'll take
40, maybe.
Okay.
That'd be Friday.
Okay.
And then Monday it'll be like 6.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be
crazy.
Yeah, we're in that roller coaster.
Yep.
Coming up here. Let's go to Kingsley. This was earlier today. Dan, our Up North. Well, Dan is also directing this show. Man of many talents, and also is our drone operator. He was over at Kingsley today. Took these views. Yeah, it looks pretty typical. Mid-January here, snow on the ground. A lot of cloud cover. Now, there were parts of northern Michigan, though, today that did get some sunshine, which was nice to see. Maya and I were talking about this off the top of the newscast, but I saw a little on the way into work. She did too. It's just the little things sometimes this time of the year. We have winter weather advisories. Let's start with that. There they are in purple. So right in through here. Around the Grand Traverse region, also Ludington, Baldwin, south, all the way down to our Muskegon tonight. 2 to 3 inches of snow in some of these spots. 5 would be pushing it on the high end tonight through tomorrow morning, but that's where the bulk of the lake effect snow is going to fall here moving forward. There's the weather map tonight. High pressure sits right over Minnesota, parts of Iowa. That'll flex in here, bringing an end tomorrow to the lake effect snow. We'll actually get a break in the weather tomorrow afternoon, maybe a little sun. And then if you look out in Montana and South Dakota, that's a warm front, that red line. That's the leading edge of some warmer air. Now, that is going to bring in a little bit of snow. We'll talk about that. That comes in tomorrow night into Thursday. Here's what's going on right now, the current state of affairs. You can see some of the snow here. Actually, let me expand this view out a little bit more. There it is. From Houghton Lake all the way up to the Lake Michigan shoreline, Alpena, right across to, Glen Arbor, Frankfort. Some snow coming down here, including around Gaylord, Petoskey tonight. As far as additional snow tonight through tomorrow, here's what we're expecting. Maybe 4 inches there on the Boyne Falls area, Walloon Lake, through tomorrow afternoon. That's what we're looking at. Houghton Lake, not much. Ludington, very little. Same thing at Sault Ste. Marie over the next 24 hours. So snow will come to an end tomorrow mid-morning. Wind changes direction. And then remember that warm front. Here comes tomorrow night. Right there. Some snow tomorrow night into part of Thursday. Snow showers Thursday. And then Friday, that'll be the mild day, but it looks pretty cloudy. Some snow showers across the UP. Then we are going to cool down. Watch the upper air pattern here. We'll take you through the weekend right there. Yeah. You don't like the cold, that's not good. But it's winter, so we have a little bit of a cold stretch coming up here, and I'll show you that to you on the 7-day forecast. There it is. So there's the 30s Thursday. There will be some snow showers around, though. Friday in the UP, some snow showers. Otherwise, just kind of a cloudy day Friday, an average of 37 in the northern lower peninsula. And then we start dropping off. 20s on Saturday. Lake effect snow will start kicking up later in the day. And then cold, and because it's going to be so cold, the colder the air mass is, less moisture the air holds, it'll be kind of a powdery lake effect snow, but we are looking at, next Monday, highs in the single digits.
It's quite the change from Friday to Monday.
Yeah, quite a big one, yeah.
All righty, thanks so much, Joe. We are going to take another quick break, but stay with us. Sports is next. You're watching Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. Well, it's a very exciting time for the Detroit Lions and, of course, all of their fans as the team gets ready to host the Washington Commanders this Saturday for the divisional round of the playoffs. And for more on that, let's turn things over to Sports Director Harrison Beebe from the UpNorthLive Digital Studio.
Maya, the countdown continues to that first playoff game for the Detroit Lions for this season. Of course, coming off 2 home playoff wins a year ago. What does this season have in store? More on that in a second, at least how much you could be paying to see that history being made. We start in Traverse City, where the We Want More tour stopped twice this afternoon for a couple special events. First at the Rotary Park this afternoon to give a lot of fans a chance to brave the cold and experience some Lions fanhood right in downtown Traverse City. And going on right now, Little Bo's, the restaurant just west of town, is hosting a special tailgate football hype event at their restaurant to really get Lions fans in the mood for what's going to happen this Saturday night at Ford Field. And when we're talking about Saturday at Ford Field, if you're going to go down and you haven't thought about buying tickets yet, you might want to go to the bank and get a few extra pennies for this one. The Lions have by far and away the most expensive ticket for this weekend slate of divisional games. The cheapest ticket at Ford Field for Saturday night's kickoff with the Washington Commanders, $530. The next closest, most expensive ticket is the cheapest one for the Eagles and Rams. That's $305, $225 less. Surprisingly, the historic Baltimore-Buffalo matchup featuring the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, you can get in that building for under $200 on Sunday. And the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl title 3-peat attempt, it's only $125 if you want to see them play the Texans in their first matchup of the playoffs this season. The Red Wings might be a little more affordable of a ticket, and they're playing pretty explosive hockey right now. 7 straight wins for the Wings as they host the San Jose Sharks tonight, going for 8 straight wins. This is the longest win streak in the NHL right now, and the longest win streak the Red Wings have had in 13 years. They're only 2 points out of a playoff spot at the moment to go along with the Pistons' success. The Pistons are in the playoff standings right now. Here tonight in Northern Michigan for high school girls basketball, we're going to have Leland taking out Lake Leland on St. Mary and Sutton's Bay hosting Bear Lake. So join us for those highlights during sports at 11. That'll do it for sports on Unscripted. Back to you, Maya.
Thank you, Harrison. And going back to those ticket prices for the playoff games, it'd probably be cheaper to fly to Kansas City and go to that game than just drive to Detroit and try to go to the Lions-Commanders game. But that's probably why most of us will be watching from the comfort of our couch on the TV for free. All right, we're going to take one more quick commercial break. But coming up next, we will take a look at the live results for a question of the day and take a look at some of your comments. Stay with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Do you think the Line 5 tunnel should be built? That is our question of the day. And if you recall at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that the communications contact for Enbridge said 70% of Michiganders support the project. And our results are supporting that statement. 73% are saying yes right now on Facebook. A lot of comments. Don't have time to read all of them. But Becky says no, too much to lose if a spring is leaking. Reroute it through another state. And Joanne says, yes, this is the most economical and safest way to move oil. That's all the time we have. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock.